Hi, my name's Rob Wolf, and just wanted to share with you a little bit about my deep love for this art called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This story goes back quite a ways. I've always been really interested in martial arts. I think a lot of kids, particularly boys, growing up, I guess also in my generation, Bruce Lee was this iconic figure. And, the finesse, the power, the cool stuff he could do always kind of drew me in. And so at the time that I got into all this stuff, there were really pretty limited options, particularly living in kind of rural Northern California. And so I got involved with some traditional martial arts, which were a lot of fun and complemented my other athletic endeavors. But I had a pretty good eye-opening the first time that I got exposed to some, shall we say, some more reality-based type methodology. And that specifically was some Thai boxing. And the first kid that I sparred who had a good Thai boxing background, or even just a modest Thai boxing background, was about 30 pounds lighter than myself. I was at that time a state powerlifting champion and pretty strong, and thought I had a decent skill set based around this more traditional karate type system. And the short story is that this kid just mopped the floor with me, and so I went home and burned my belt and my gi and started studying Thai boxing. And I made my way down to Southern California, the Long Beach area. And in that whole experience, I really fell in love with a couple of things. Filipino martial arts and Thai boxing. I thought they were really beautiful, tons of fun. And then somebody asked me if I wanted to check out this thing called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I had seen some stuff, related to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in like the back of Black Belt magazine. And I had heard about this Gracie Challenge where these crazy Brazilian guys would fight anybody anywhere and take folks down and grapple with them and choke them out or, beat them up in some way. And I thought that sounded okay, but, I didn't really think that there was probably anything all that magical to it. I did a little bit of wrestling in grade school and high school. And so I felt like, between the Thai boxing and the clinch work in Thai boxing, and then whatever my perception of ground game was related to some high school, wrestling, that I would be able to hold my own. And so I did a little bit of work with this guy who was a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And if you watch one or two of the very first UFCs, you actually see this guy walk out with Royce and the rest of the Gracie family. But the short story again with that is this guy just wrapped me up. And I believe Sam Harris used an analogy that your first couple of exposures to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu are like drowning, but drowning in kind of a interesting way where you want to do it again. This was a long time ago. This was back in 1992, 1993. And right around this time, I had an opportunity to move back north up to Northern California and go to school in Chico. And there just really wasn't any opportunity to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu up there. I learned a very little bit in my time down in Southern California, went to the original Torrance Academy, did a little bit of judo with John Ogden, who's kind of one of the icons of American judo. So I had a little bit of background, and I managed to rope some people into doing a little bit of training here and there, but it was very, very piecemeal. I had no idea what I was doing. Again, this was before there was the ubiquity of school options that we see today. And so really one could say that my jiu-jitsu training or my jiu-jitsu experience started a very, very long time ago, but I went almost 15 years between effectively like the first week of training and the second week of training. So the past 4 years, I've been reasonably consistent and have just loved it. I'm now 46 years old as of recording this. I am one day away from my 46th birthday. And it's become an integral part of my life to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And it's hard to really describe what it provides me. And so many other people have mentioned, kind of the physical element and the cognitive element and almost the spiritual element to training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and so I'm remiss to try to improve on that. But it definitely makes me a better person. Like I'm just a happier person when I get a chance to train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And interestingly, both of my daughters, who are 3 and 5, they are now in a kids program. My wife has started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so it's really become a family love affair. studying this art and integrating it into our lives and using some of the teachings that we get from this, because jiu-jitsu, when you're on kind of a high, that's great. When things are really clicking, that's fantastic. But you really don't want to get super attached to that moment or that experience, because sure enough, you're going to go a week or two and you know, a new person is going to roll in the gym, a different skill set is going to be worked, and it's going to be like you're a flat beginner again. I'm a purple belt currently, which is a pretty good indication that the quality control and standards in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu have slid precipitously, that I've made it that far. But it's kind of amazing that I've been able to do that. But it's just been some consistency, finding really, really solid coaches and also training partners, and picking the volume and the intensity of my training pretty selectively so that I can stay in this over the long haul. I would really, really like to do this art until they throw dirt on me. So thanks for taking a minute to listen to my ramblings about this. Thank you to Roy Dean for being an incredible friend, a fantastic coach, and contributing so much to the art of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and many other arts. His passion and artistry clearly comes out in the work that he does, and it's been an incredible honor to learn from him and continue to learn from him and to take part in this small project that he's working on.